Welcome back to the Change Starts Here podcast. I'm your host, Dustin Odham, and I'm so glad you're here for the second episode in a 5-part series on paradigms. If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. If you're tuning in on a video platform here and you're wondering, what the heck am I doing in a hotel room? Had my first snafu recording this episode back in my studio in St. Louis, but found out that I recorded this entire monologue, sent it off to be edited, and it did not have sound. So we're praying that that is fixed this time. That is obviously user error on my end, and we're going to dive in. So this series is all about mental maps. It's about our paradigms that shape how we see the world, the actions we take, and the results we ultimately get. Last time we introduced the concept of paradigms and unpacked Dr. Stephen Covey's see, do, get model, which, as I said, is my favorite model that we have here for mental mapping. Today, we're diving into one of the most powerful paradigm shifts a leader can make. And that's moving from scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. Now let's address the elephant in the room. If you're a K-12 leader, you may be thinking, Dustin, this sounds great in theory, but time and money are actually scarce, especially given some of the news that's come out recently. That's just the reality we're living in. And I just want to name first and foremost, as someone who's been on your side of the table, you're not wrong. I know the challenges educators are facing: tight budgets, packed schedules, increasing demands, and so much more. But here's the key. An abundance mindset isn't about pretending those challenges don't exist. It's about seeing those challenges differently. Dr. Covey said, most people think of leadership as a position, but leadership is about relationships, and relationships are best built on trust and an abundance mindset. So today we're going to explore how that mindset can help you not only navigate scarcity, but lead in a way that fosters collaboration, creativity, and growth, even in difficult circumstances. So let's begin by defining these two paradigms and how they show up in education. First, scarcity mindset. This is the belief that there's only so much to go around. Resources, opportunities, even recognition feel finite. It's a mindset that says, we don't have enough funding to implement this idea. There aren't enough hours in the day to support our students. If someone else succeeds, there's less room for me. This mindset, as you can assume, leads to fear, competition, and a reluctance to share or collaborate. The second mindset is the abundance mindset. On the other hand, this paradigm says there's enough for everyone to succeed. It's the belief that opportunities and resources can grow, and success is not a zero-sum game. Abundance sounds like this. We may not have all the resources we need yet, but let's get creative about finding them. By working together, we can make time for what truly matters. Their success doesn't diminish my own. It strengthens us as a team. Now, I want you to think about it in your own context. Where do you see scarcity showing up in your life or work? Is it in how you approach funding, collaboration, even recognition of your team's efforts? Here's the truth. The scarcity you may feel could be very real. Your mindset determines how you respond to it. Again, I love to repeat things, as you know, so here's the truth. The scarcity you feel may be very real, but your mindset determines how you respond to it. You can either let it limit you, or you can choose to see abundance and create opportunities where none seem to exist. Let me share a story of a principal who was deeply familiar with scarcity, but chose to lead in abundance. A few years ago, I worked with a principal at a Title I school. Resources were stretched thin, teachers were exhausted, and many felt unsupported. When she arrived, the culture was one of scarcity. Teachers felt like they had to fight for recognition and resources, and even each other's trust. But instead of buying into that narrative, this principal chose to adopt an abundance mindset. First, she began with gratitude. Each week, she sent handwritten notes to teachers thanking them for the specific ways they were making a difference. That's something that I've seen a number of principals utilize. And so if you haven't done that in your leadership, I would strongly recommend that you do it and keep track of it and make sure it doesn't feel like just handwritten notes. There's a number of ways you should thanks to people and appreciation and gratitude, but handwritten notes are so powerful. She also made time at every staff meeting to celebrate successes, no matter how small they were. This simple practice shifted the energy in the room. It reminded teachers of the impact they were already making, even in a tough circumstance. Next, she fostered collaboration. Instead of letting grade levels or departments operate in silos, she encouraged teachers to share ideas, strategies, and even resources. At first, and it's obvious, some resisted. Old habits die hard, but eventually they realized that working together made everyone's job easier. Finally, she looked for creative solutions to resource challenges. For example, she partnered with local businesses and community organizations to secure additional funding and materials. But she also reminded her team that abundance wasn't just about money, it was about time, energy, and trust. She encouraged her staff to prioritize what mattered most, her students. The result, the culture shifted. Teachers began to trust one another, share ideas, and celebrate each other's wins. Morale improved. And interestingly, so did student outcomes. Here's what's important to note: the principal didn't suddenly get a bigger budget or more hours in a day. What changed was how she and her team saw their circumstances, and that change made all the difference. So, how can you shift from scarcity to abundance in your own life and leadership? Here's the personal side. So, one of the things that I've always focused on my 13 years of Franklin Covey is professional and personal development. It's everything we do is how do we help you professionally and how do we help you personally? So, I'm going to start with the personal because I believe in the inside out approach is make sure you take care of yourself. So, first and foremost, practice gratitude. One of the best ways to reinforce an abundance mindset is by practicing gratitude. So try this exercise. It's simple, something that I do and has changed the way I look at the world. At the end of each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. That can be as small as a kind word from a colleague or as big as a breakthrough from a student. Over time, this practice rewires our brain to focus on what we have instead of what we lack. Gratitude certainly does not erase the challenges. So don't get me wrong. You can probably see my journal a little bit over my shoulder here. Um, just because I do that doesn't erase the challenges or stresses in life. But over time, it definitely shifts your perspective so you can face those challenges with clarity and hope. On the professional side, how about we foster collaboration and creativity? So in your leadership, look for ways to approach challenges with an abundance mindset. First, collaboration. If your team is feeling the weight of limited time or resources, ask, how can we work together to lighten the load? Create opportunities for teachers to share best practices and learn from each other. Second, creativity. When money feels tight, think outside the box. Are there community partners who can help? Can you reallocate resources to focus on your top priorities? That is something that we so seldom do. But if we step back and looked at and analyze where is this money going and where could it be going to have the most impact on our staff and our students? Abundance isn't about ignoring scarcity. It's about believing in the possibility of more. The key is to trust that success is not limited. When you lead with that mindset, you inspire your team to do the same. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with a challenge. Take a moment this week to identify one area where you've been operating from scarcity. We all have one. So please do this. Take time to think about that one area where you've been operating from scarcity. Maybe it's how you view your time. Maybe it's how you view your resources. Maybe it's even how you view your relationships. And ask yourself, how can I see through a lens of an abundance? What opportunities or resources might I be overlooking because of a scarcity mindset? Write it down. Again, I'll ask again. How can I see through a lens of abundance? What opportunities or resources might I be overlooking because of a scarcity mindset? Write it down, be specific, and then take one small step towards shifting your perspective. It could be practicing gratitude, reaching out to a colleague for support, or brainstorming creative solutions to a problem. Because here's the truth: when you choose abundance, you don't just change how you see, change what you do, and ultimately what you get. Thank you, as always, for joining me for the second episode in our Paradigm series. It's one I'm incredibly passionate about, and I hope you can tell in how I'm communicating this topic. Remember, most people think of leadership as a position, but leadership is about relationships, and relationships are best built on trust and an abundance mindset. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who might need to hear it. And as you can tell, this series means a lot to me. So be sure to tune in next time as we explore the paradigm shift from reactivity to proactivity. It's a mindset that I have to work on constantly, and it's a mindset that I think can help you take control of your life and your leadership. Until next time, keep leading with your heart, keep challenging your paradigms, and remember, change truly starts here. Thanks again.